Hello stars, this is Luminousz Ztarr. Welcome to the channel. All of my current subscribers, thank you guys and girls so much for being my subscribers. Also want to thank you all for motivating me and keeping me passionate about keeping Luminousz Ztarr channel active. Everyone who's visiting for the first time, welcome to Luminousz Ztarr. Please check the description box below for the details to today's video. All right, today's video, the pain of the narcissist is none of your business. Okay, I want to thank everyone in advance for his or her time. Please, again, check the description box below for all of the details to today's video, and don't forget to like and or share today's video. Okay, topics of discussion. The codependent relationship with the narcissist and cluster B personality type. Okay, topic number 2, addiction to painful emotions. Topic number 3, the business of rescuing the narcissist can cost you. Another topic we're going to be talking about is accepting that you have changed. The final topic, of course, are going to be the tools, references, and resources of which you can find in the description box below. Okay, so let's go ahead and really look at the dysfunctional relationship with narcissists and cluster B personality types. Really, it's a codependent relationship. So one of the signs of a codependent relationship is the attempt to rescue the other person. This is something that a lot of us have gone through. I know I have. When it comes to a codependent relationship with a narcissist and cluster B personality, this is one of the things that's going to be happening a lot. So this is part of the theme of the relationship. Now, a lot of you already know that I talk about what's the theme of the relationship. The theme of the relationship is actually what's going on in the relationship. Not so much what you're feeling, but what's going on in the relationship. One of the things that we're going to find in a codependent relationship with a narcissist and cluster B personality is the rescuing, or at least attempting to rescue him or her. So a big part of the theme of the relationship is the attempt to rescue the other person. Narcissists and cluster B personality types, they don't take responsibility for anything that they do, feel, or think during the relationship. It's always somebody else's fault. So let's just say, for instance, the cluster B personality or the narcissist, they go out and they drink a little bit too much. They may end up in jail. Yeah, they're probably going to call you to bail him or her out. The cluster B personality and the narcissist, they don't want you to challenge them to think about the things that they put in motion that landed them in jail. That's a no-no. In the narcissist and cluster B personalities book, that's a no-no. No, they just want you to bail them out. They want you to rescue him or her. So this is a big part of a theme that goes on in a codependent relationship with narcissists and cluster B personalities. They're going to set things up or a scenario up, whereas you will feel like you're obligated to rescue, if not save him or her. They don't take responsibility for what they do. So if you are a person who behaves codependently, or if you have been groomed since your childhood to rescue other people, this is what's going to play out in a codependent relationship with a narcissist and cluster B personality. Okay, having said all that, stay tuned for the video. Hello, this is Luminousz Ztarr. Welcome to the channel. The pain of the narcissist and cluster B personality is none of your business. Topics of discussion: codependent relationships with narcissists and cluster B personality types, addiction to painful emotions. The business of rescuing the cluster B personality type can cost you. Accepting that you've changed enough to outgrow codependent relationships. Tools, references, and resources, which you can find in the description box below. Side note: addiction to painful emotions. For this particular topic, please look in the description box below for that link to that particular video. Let's move forward. Point number 1. One of the key signatures of a codependent relationship is one person attempting to rescue the other. Some who are love addicts fall into this overly dependent dynamic of his or her romantic partners. However, when the partner in question is a narcissist or a cluster B personality type, it can turn into a bad romance very quickly. So one of the key signatures of a codependent relationship is when one partner attempts to save the other. And this can be anything from he or she getting locked up in jail because of misconduct to he or she having financial crisis. Okay, so let's move forward. Unfortunately, narcissists and cluster B personality types often take their romantic partnership for granted by using their capacity to love, care, support, and be loyal. These characteristics are not appreciated, nor are they found to be of value to most cluster B personality types. There are some who are empathic, codependent, and or love addicts that often feel obligated to rescue, fix, or save their romantic partners. Next slide. Attempting to make the narcissist the focal point of your life might cause you to miss out on your own life, in which the cost is just too great. The pain, trauma, anger, and issue of the narcissist or the cluster B personality type is no business of their partners, unless he or she chooses to share their progress of recovery or healing in attempts to obtain support. One way to support a romantic partner is to make sure that you are not pressuring him or her to share something that they may be going through way early before they're ready to share it with you, because he or she may think that you're being manipulative by continuing to press the issue. One of the things I learned again is to just stay out of other people's business until or unless he or she would like to share with me what's going on. Now, the exception is if it's life-threatening, whereas fatality can be the result. If that person is harming themselves, of course you step in. If the narcissistic or cluster B personality partner has set things into motion, whereas they are suffering the consequences, which is often the case, then for their partner to step in and rescue him or her makes them an enabler. Okay, so very often a love addict or someone who behaves codependently, unfortunately, they fall into this trap. The narcissist and cluster B personality, they often set things in motion, whereas they're in a crisis, leaving their romantic partners feeling obligated to rescue him or her. And I'm here to tell you from personal experience, it is a trap that is going to make you miss out on your own life. It's also a good chance that you're going to be missing out on your own life because you're not dealing with your own challenges. There's things that you would like to do to make your dreams come true, is it not? So how can you do that when you're making the narcissist and cluster B personality romantic partner the focal point or the center of your life? Let's move forward.
Okay, so there are a few things we're going to be going over, such as I want to talk about how certain emotions, well, actually painful emotions, do spark the cat and mouse game. So when we're playing that cat and mouse game with the narcissist, what keeps it going? Painful emotions is what keeps it going. So that's one of the topics of discussion. Another topic that we're going to be talking about is stages of addiction and stages of painful emotions. And there are certain things that must happen in order to keep the painful emotion going, as well as it sparking or starting up. So there's certain stages to addiction, and there's certain stages to painful emotions. So we're going to be talking about that. Okay, so in order for the sport of the cat and mouse game with the narcissist to keep going, there's certain painful emotions that must take place. One of those emotions is anger. Okay, now anger is not a bad thing. I know anger gets a bad rap. However, anger can be used for positive. It can actually benefit you if you know how to use it constructively. One of the constructive ways to use anger is to express the anger in a safe and a stable environment. What do I mean by that? Meaning, make sure when you express the anger that you're not intentionally out to cause destruction to someone else or yourself. A constructive way to use anger or to express anger is to do role play. That is, you go to a mentor, you go to a life coach, you go to your clergy, or you go to a counselor, and they are willing to engage in role play. Be willing to do the role play with someone that you trust within a safe and stable environment, okay, such as a life coach or a mentor or a clergy or someone who's your counselor or your therapist. That's going to be in a safe, stable environment, and it's with somebody that you trust. So do role play with someone like that in a safe and a very stable environment. This is one way that you can express your anger in a constructive way. That might sound like a lot to some of you. That may sound like it wouldn't even work to some of you, but just try it out, okay? You know they're gonna love seeing you reactionary because they think they have everything to do with it. And in a sense, they do have something to do with it because they said something and they did something and off you went, okay? So that supplies the narcissist. So we don't really wanna do that. I wanna suggest to you something I do, and that is role play. I go to a person that I trust, and I go to a safe and stable environment, whereas I can express my anger in a constructive way. Role play is one way to do it. The other person who's willing to pretend that they are the narcissist, you can say whatever you need to say to him or her, and they're not going to take it personally because they understand it's a role play. They understand what happened because you're telling them what happened between you and the narcissist to get you so riled up and angry. Okay, so I hope that helps. A lot of narcissists, they don't tend to become emotional. Rather, they become histrionic. Okay, so when that happens, they try to get you to become reactionary. When you become reactionary, the narcissist has their addiction fed, as well as their false self-image. It's all being fed. This is a vicious cycle of the addiction that we're talking about in this video. The narcissist is addicted to painful emotions. You are expressing anger. You're being reactionary. The narcissist sits back and watches. It's almost like they take an intravenous drug into their veins. When they're watching you becoming reactionary, they are getting fed. Not only is their false self-image being fed, but their addiction is being fed. This is something that I learned quite some time ago. Okay, so I want to share this with you. When we are reactionary, the narcissist feeds. This is exactly why they try to nudge us to become reactionary. This way their addiction is being fed. Their false self-image is being fed. The false self-image is being fed because they can sit back and watch and say, oh yeah, see, you're the one that's crazy. Okay, you're the one acting like you're wilding out. I'm sitting here calm. And if the narcissist has an audience, mission is accomplished, making you look crazy and making them look calm and to be the sensible one. So you don't want to fall into that trap. The narcissist and cluster B personality, they're usually not very emotional. They tend to be histrionic. The reason why their addiction gets fed is because when you become reactionary, those are your emotions, okay? That is in motion. Another way to look at emotions is to look at it as your energy being in motion. So they're right there to catch it. They're right there to feed off. The narcissist addiction is being fed when they get to witness you expressing a very painful emotion, such as anger, maybe even sadness. Okay, you may cry in front of the narcissist. Believe it or not, they're getting their addictions fed. So whenever you become reactionary, some people are so angry they start to tear up. They start to cry when they're angry. The narcissist loves that because they're getting their addiction fed. Not only is their addiction being fed, but the false self-image remains alive and thriving as the other person or you becomes very drained. Okay, so I hope that is starting to clear up for you how that works, how the narcissist may be addicted to painful emotions. When they witness other people expressing painful emotions, their addiction is being fed. When another person expresses their emotions, whether it's anger, sadness, frustration, or what have you, the narcissist exploits their capacity to do so. So when we express, the narcissist exploits. Okay, so there are several things that takes place in order for painful emotions to begin or to start or to be sparked. A person has to think something first. See, the emotions don't come first. The thoughts come first. So when they're thinking something that may have them angry, okay, then the emotions will come. So they're thinking something negative first or unpleasant first, then the anger comes, then the sadness comes. So there's your painful emotion. Before the painful emotion, there's a thought that happens. Second thing that has to happen before a painful emotion starts is the neurotransmitters must be activated. Now, these are chemicals in the brain that a person can absolutely become addicted to, because physiologically as well as physically, the person is going to feel something. They're going to feel certain sensations. Okay, again, this is where the emotions start. The person is feeling something, they're thinking something, and then they're feeling that painful emotion. So the neurotransmitters will release a particular chemical in the brain and will turn into a particular hormone, and then the person can become craved and they could become addicted to that particular painful emotion. Another thing that happens is, I just mentioned, the hormones. Okay, so that's the third thing that has to happen before the painful emotion erupts or starts or sparks. The fourth and last thing that has to happen is there has to be stress. Okay, so there may be emotional stress. So those are the four things that must take place before the painful emotion is expressed and or felt. So if the narcissist is around, he or she is also, again, their addiction is being fed. Their false self-image is thriving and surviving just by watching you be reactionary, watching you express those painful emotions. The narcissist absolutely can also be addicted to that. Okay, now there are 3 stages that comprise of addiction: binging and intoxication. That's the first stage. The second stage is withdrawal and negative effects. The third and final stage to addiction is anticipation and preoccupation. These are the stages that play out in a codependent relationship that can be very intoxicating as well as addictive to all parties involved. Love addicts tend to be very appealing as well as attracted to narcissists and cluster B personalities, because narcissists and cluster B personalities, they tend to be love avoidant people. Okay, they don't like to get too close and they don't like to get involved, because when you look at the fact that they don't know how to emotionally regulate, they're not able to connect with other people. So there you have it, they're love avoidant people. On the other side, you have the love addict, who tends to be the codependent. They are addicted to love and romantic relationships. This is why the cluster B personality and the narcissist tends to couple up with people who are codependents and love addicts. Okay, so there's the spectrum of addiction. On one side, you have the codependent, who tends to be the love addict, and on the other side of that spectrum, you have the narcissist or the cluster B personality, who tends to be the love avoidant. Okay, so when it comes down to the narcissist or the cluster B personality, as well as the codependent or the love addict becoming addicted to painful emotions, see, this is how it forms in that relationship. Due to the subconscious mind and the program that's in the subconscious mind, when it comes to the narcissist or the cluster B personality, this is one of the reasons why they may be addicted to painful emotions. They're addicted to the struggle. They're addicted to sabotage. Okay, so it's in the programming that they have in the subconscious mind. And again, it may have something to do with it. We're creatures of habit. We tend to seek the people, places, and things that are very familiar to us. The narcissist is not excluded. Okay, they have a programming in their subconscious mind that they are absolutely running. One of the reasons why he or she may be addicted to painful emotions, again, as I stated, they tend to be histrionic. They don't become very emotional. Instead, they try to nudge other people or influence other people to become reactionary, therefore emotional, particularly expressing painful emotions. So they can sit back and take the hit. Okay, in other words, like a drug addict, they can take that hit and they can enjoy the high. This is also why a lot of narcissists like to nudge people into becoming reactionary, because they're fiending for that hit. The subconscious mind programming that the narcissist or cluster B personality has a lot to do with that. We tend to seek things that are very familiar to us. Again, this is where the subconscious mind comes in. We tend to seek out people, places, and things that are very familiar to us, even if it's a bad habit, even if it's very destructive. It's very familiar, and that's all.
It might be time to accept that you have changed. Outgrowing dysfunctional relationships, such as a codependent relationship with a narcissist, can influence feelings of fear, uncertainty, and despondency. The narcissist and or cluster B personality type pulls away when triggered. However, this does not mean that you are obligated to internalize that experience. It does not help you or your romantic partner or partners. Okay, so whenever a person feels obliged, or pardon me, when they feel obligated to internalize what the narcissist and cluster B personality is going through, this means that he or she is being an enabler. And often they don't realize this. So when a person is an enabler, they're actually not helping anyone. And they do themselves a great disservice. When a person is in love, of course, they care about what their partners are going through. Okay, again, this is natural. However, what's not very natural or helpful is when the partner becomes an enabler. This is the same as encouraging the narcissist and cluster B personality to continue to behave dysfunctionally. So this is not helping yourself or that person. No one can support the other person when they're overly dependent on one another. This is another signature mark of a codependent relationship. Okay, let's take a look at the tools. Tool number 1, accept that you are outgrowing a dysfunctional relationship with a narcissist and or cluster B personality type. Codependent relationships often can influence states of depression and anxiety. This is something that I've gone through personally. There was one time that I was a codependent in my romantic relationships. Thank goodness that's long over, okay? I've learned a lot of things from all of my romantic relationships. Okay, so there's one in particular where it was a cluster B personality type. I've also learned a lot of valuable lessons from that relationship. Codependent relationships often do influence states of depression and anxiety, and they often reinforce our fears and things that we don't like about ourselves, other people, and just life in general. One of the things that I've learned from personal experience is that codependent relationships keep a person captivated. Okay, it keeps them imprisoned. It keeps them stagnant and in the sunken place. They really can't live their lives because they're making their romantic partners the center of their life. He or she cannot be an equal partner because they are enabling their romantic partner. An enabler supports the addiction, the dysfunctional behavior, the toxicity, and even abusive behavior of their partners. This is what enabling is all about, supporting someone else regardless of what they're doing is right or wrong. Okay, so this means an enabler, if a person is an alcoholic, the enabler supports that. Even if they never take one drink, they're supporting it. So there's no way that they can be an equal partner in that particular romantic relationship. When a person is an enabler to a narcissist or a cluster B personality, within that romantic relationship, their role will shrink in comparison to the role of the narcissist and cluster B personality. One of the reasons is because the role of the cluster B personality and or narcissist becomes overinflated. It takes up all the relationship because every time you turn around, the narcissist and cluster B personality is in a crisis. Every time you turned around, there was drama. And what did you do? More than likely, you were rescuing him or her. Okay, now this is not the scold anyway. I'm just pointing out this is one of the experiences I had with that one particular relationship I had in my past with a cluster B personality type. Every time I turned around, I was supporting him or her, whereas I didn't get any support. So again, the role that I was playing became insignificant. All right, so once again, you have to accept that you're outgrowing the dysfunctional relationship with the narcissist or cluster B personality, meaning that you are growing out of codependent relationships. So this is something to celebrate. Let's move on to the next tool. Consider how addictive the codependent relationship with the narcissist has been for you. Give yourself credit for choosing to take back your life after narcissistic abuse. Okay, so the relationship, the codependent relationship with narcissists and cluster B personalities, no doubt and more than likely is very addictive to most people. Okay, so give yourself credit for taking the steps to take back your life. Narcissistic abuse is no joke. At least I don't think so. So it is more than likely, it has been very addictive for you to have a codependent dysfunctional relationship with a narcissist and cluster B personality. If you have an ex that you used to have a codependent romance with, more than likely it was probably very addictive for you. All right, now this is again not to scold, just to point out just why it is very difficult for a lot of people to grow past or get past this type of relationship with a narcissist and cluster B personality. Okay, so I wish you all the best in that. All right, so it takes time, so be patient with yourself. Next tool. Take steps to learn how to focus on your own healing, recovery, and progress by making thriving forward your priority. You might not be able to afford making the trauma and or pain of the narcissist your business anymore. He or she has been overly dependent upon you long enough. I don't know if anyone has ever said this before to you personally. Being in a codependent relationship with a narcissist and cluster B personality is highly addictive. Therefore, when the relationship is over, you're going to feel like you need to go to recovery. You need to go to rehab, right? You're probably going to feel that way. So this is something that I wanted to share with you all because I've been through this at least once in my life. And that is being in a codependent relationship with a cluster B personality type. It is no fun. In the beginning, it is fun, but the honeymoon does not last. I want to wish everyone, again, the very best on taking the steps to continue to thrive forward. The narcissist and cluster B personality, they have been overly dependent on you. It's high time that you take your life back. They're not going to be checking for you. They're not going to make sure that you're okay. That's going to be up to you. So again, I wish everyone the very best on that. References and resources. Please look in the description box below for links to references and resources. I'm Luminousz Ztarr. I want to thank everyone for joining me today or tonight. And of course, wherever you are right now, I certainly hope you are taking care of yourself. And I wish you the very best love possible. Stay tuned for more vlogs and stay tuned for more videos.